I have a fun technique I wanted to share with you today. It has to do with making custom stencils and also using this spackling to make to use as the embossing paste, or I forget what it's called. I know you can buy it in the craft store, and it's probably way more expensive than going just to the hardware store and getting spackling. So first thing I want to do is create my custom stencil. So if you have the balloons framelits, you'll want to grab those. So this balloon is very large, and I wanted one that was a little bit smaller, so I decided to create one myself, and I used the tassel from the set. And if you cut the tassel, I'm using window sheets just so I can reuse the stencils, but you can also do it with cardstock. But first thing you'll do is cut your tassel, and then take your circle framelits. I think this is like the 4th size from the bottom, and then cut that right over, and you'll end up with this smaller balloon stencil. You can use some of the smaller size circles too, and it works well. But this is the one I used for this card, so that's what we're going to use today. And this is just Whisper White paper, my window sheet. Hold it down with some sticky stuff. If you use washi tape, make sure you take some of that stickiness out before you stick it on your page so it doesn't tear your paper when you try to lift it up. And then we're going to use some Coastal Cabana ink and start sponging. So I like to start on one side that I want a little bit darker. So I'll sponge that side and then go lighter. And at this point, if you wanted to stamp one of the stamps from the Celebrate, what's it called? Celebrate Today birthday, or Celebrate Today stamp set, you would do that now. Since this balloon is a little smaller, it needs that extra mask. I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to actually make this the hot air balloon. So I made another stencil the same way with the window sheet, and this is the banner. So I will need to lay this over. So I have 2 stencils here on top of each other. Hold that down. And now here's where the fun stuff happens. I wanted to have my spackling be like a light blue, light Coastal Cabana. So I just put my spackling in there and a few drops of reinker and mixed it up. It's purple because the spackling's actually pink out of the jar. So I imagine that's so you can see it on the wall. So it might look a little weird, the colors, when you're mixing them with the reinker. So if you want to test it, mix it and dry some and see if it's the color that you like before you start. So you're just going to take a little bit of that spackling. And this is just a coffee stir stick, so whatever you have that's flat. And you're going to wipe it over the stencil. Out. Make sure you don't have any gaps. And then when we lift this, we should have a perfect little banner. Yay, it worked. Okay, so you can set this aside and let it dry. I'm just going to take my heat tool and go over it quickly. You have to be careful. You don't want to overheat it because it will start to discolor. So we're just going to take our heat tool and dry this. Okay, and then I'm going to add the hot air balloon bottom. It works with this size circle. If you use some of the smaller die cuts and made a smaller balloon, this won't line up quite as well. I actually think it might be a little too big. And then I'm going to use my blender pen to give this a little bit of a watercolor look. That one's done. So I'm going to show you a couple other things that I did with the spackling. This card, I used the white spackling. I didn't dye it, and I put it over the butterfly die cut. I made a stencil for that. And then I just sponged a little bit of ink over that. This one, I cut out the balloon and I used the stencils that Stampin' Up sells. So this one is the stars decorative mask. And I mixed up some yellow spackling and blue and put those on there. And for these cards, I just used the stencil and I sponged them on. So to do more than one balloon, just use your, make the same die cuts and cut them from sticky notes. And then you can have masks ready to go and you just put those on, you know, and keep sponging. And then you can get that layered dimensional look. I hope you enjoyed my video today and you give the stencils a try. And if you have any questions, just email me or leave a comment here and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.